Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel where we dive into all things fishing, from the tried and true to the downright experimental. Have you ever found yourself standing in the middle of a tackle shop completely overwhelmed by the endless rows of shiny lures? Each one promises to be the secret weapon you need, but those price tags, wow, they can really make your wallet ache. $50 for a single lure, seriously? Sometimes it feels like you need to take out a small loan just to keep up with the latest gear. It makes you wonder, are these high-end lures really worth the investment, or is there another way? That got me thinking, what if you could craft your own lure at home, using just a handful of materials and a bit of creativity? Imagine building a lure in your garage for less than $5 and then taking it out to see if it can actually outfish those expensive store-bought baits. That's exactly the challenge I set for myself. I wanted to see if a homemade lure, built with basic tools and a little ingenuity, could really stand up to a professional-grade $50 lure. But this experiment isn't just about saving a few bucks. It's about tapping into your own creativity, learning what makes fish tick, and experiencing the pure satisfaction of catching a big one on something you made with your own two hands. So, I built a simple, budget-friendly lure and set it up for a head-to-head battle against a top-of-the-line $50 pro model. No shortcuts, no special treatment, just a fair fight. We hit the same lake, followed the same rules, and targeted the same fish. It was the ultimate showdown, homemade ingenuity versus professional engineering. The big question is, does spending more money really guarantee you'll catch more fish? Or is there a bit of homemade magic that can surprise even the most seasoned anglers? Grab your tools and your tackle box, because we're about to get our hands dirty and find out what really matters to the fish. And maybe, just maybe, discover that the best lure is the one you make yourself. My lure-making journey began, honestly, out of pure frustration. I remember the day vividly, standing on the bank, casting a brand new expensive crankbait toward a promising spot near a submerged tree. In a split second, the lure snagged on a hidden branch, and no matter how carefully I tried to retrieve it, it was gone. Just like that, I'd lost a lure I'd barely even used. It felt like I was just tossing money straight into the lake, and unfortunately, this wasn't a one-time thing. Over the years, I'd lost more lures than I could count, each one a little hit to my wallet and my pride. Every time I opened my tackle box and saw another empty slot, I'd think about how much I'd spent and how quickly it could all disappear with a single bad cast. Losing lures is just part of fishing, especially if you're like me and love targeting big bass hiding deep in heavy cover. The best fish are always in the trickiest spots: thick weeds, tangled brush, sunken logs. If you want to catch them, you have to risk your gear. But it always stung a little, knowing that every cast could cost me another lure. That's when I started thinking back to stories I'd heard about old-timers, guys who didn't have fancy gear or expensive lures. They'd carve their own baits out of scrap wood, paint them by hand, and still manage to catch plenty of fish. There was something inspiring about that resourcefulness, that do-it-yourself spirit. I started to wonder, why couldn't I do the same? What if I could make a lure that I wouldn't be afraid to lose? Something I could toss into the thickest cover without worrying about the cost. I wanted to create a lure that was truly mine, both in design and in spirit. I wasn't looking for perfection. I just wanted something cheap, effective, and easy to replace. If I lost it, no big deal. I could just make another one. That idea was freeing, and it sparked a whole new level of excitement for me. So, I cleared a little space in my garage, gathered up some basic tools, and started tinkering. I experimented with different shape, materials, and weights. Anything I could get my hands on. I tried carving wood, molding soft plastics, even repurposing old hardware. Every evening became a new adventure in creativity and problem solving. Of course, there were plenty of failures along the way. Some lures spun in wild circles, others sank like rocks or wouldn't swim at all. My workbench was littered with rejects, strange shapes, odd colors, ideas that just didn't pan out. But every failed attempt taught me something valuable about how lures move, what makes them attractive to fish, and how small changes can make a big difference. Each time I tested a new lure in the water, I learned a little more about what triggers a strike. Sometimes a simple tweak in the design would suddenly make a lure irresistible to fish. Watching a base follow and finally hit a lure I'd made with my own hands was a thrill like no other. Through this process, I realized I was learning more about fish and fishing than I ever had just buying lures off the shelf. Making my own forced me to think about how fish see, hear, and react to different shapes and movements. It deepened my understanding of the sport in ways I never expected. The whole experience made me a better angler, but it also connected me to fishing on a deeper level. It wasn't just about catching fish anymore. It was about the satisfaction of creating something with my own hands and the joy of seeing it work out on the water. For me, it stopped being about perfection. It became about learning, adapting, and most importantly, having fun. Every mistake was just another step forward, another story to tell. And in the end, that's what fishing should be. A chance to learn, to create, to share good times with friends, and to enjoy every moment on the water, no matter what you're casting. Building your own fishing lure at home is not only easier than you might imagine, but it's also a fun and rewarding project that can save you a surprising amount of money. Instead of spending $10, $15, or even more on a single store-bought lure, you can craft your own for just a fraction of the price. And you don't need to be a master woodworker or have a garage full of tools to get started. When you walk down the aisles of your local tackle shop or hardware store, it's easy to get sticker shock from the price tags on fishing gear. But with a little creativity and some basic supply, you can make a lure that works just as well, if not better, than the expensive ones. Here's what you'll need to get started. A small block of lightweight balsa or pine wood to the body, 2 sharp treble hooks for catching fish, a few sturdy screw eyes to hold everything together, and a scrap of clear plastic, like the kind from a soda bottle or food packaging, to make the diving lip that gives your lure its action in the water. The best part is, you can find almost all of these materials at your local hardware or craft store, often for just a few bucks. In fact, you'll likely have enough supplies to make several lures for the price of one store-bought version. Start by shaping the wood into the body of your lure. You can carve it into a classic minnow shape, a chunky crankbait, or anything your imagination dreams up. Sand it smooth so it glides through the water. Next, attach the treble hooks. These are the business end of your lure, the part that actually catches the fish. Make sure they're sharp and securely fastened. Use screw eyes to connect the hooks and create attachment points for your fishing line. These little pieces of hardware are what hold your lure together, so don't skimp on quality. For the diving lip, simply cut a piece of clear plastic from a soda bottle or any sturdy packaging. Shape it to fit the front of your lure. This will help it dive and wiggle, mimicking the movement of real bait fish. Use waterproof superglue to seal and secure all the part. This step is crucial for making sure your lure holds up to repeated casts and bites from aggressive fish. If you want your lure to sink a little deeper, add a split-shot sinker for extra weight. This lets you fine-tune how your lure moves in the water, depending on the fish you're targeting, and that's it. In just a short time, you've built a simple, effective, and deadly fishing lure for about $5. It's proof that you don't need to spend a fortune to catch fish. With the materials you've bought, you'll have enough to make several lures, each one unique. Experiment with different shapes, sizes, and color to see what works best in your local water. You don't need any fancy tools or a big investment, just a few basic hand tools, a little patience, and your own creativity. The process is simple, but the results can be impressive. The best part? You get to customize every detail, from the paint job to the action in the water. Let's get started and build your first DIY lure together. Here's how to make the Wobble Wonder. Draw a minnow shape on your wood block and carve it out. Imperfections add character. Band it smooth, then twist and screw eyes, one at the nose, one on the belly, one near the tail. Cut a small plastic lip and slot it into the head at a downward angle. This gives your lure its action. Glue the lip in place and let it dry. Add a split-shot sinker in the belly for balance if you want it to suspend or sink. Attach your treble hooks to the screw eyes. That's it. No fancy paint job needed. The Wobble Wonder is ready to fish. It may look humble, but don't underestimate it. Sometimes, simple works best. Now, let's see how it performs on the water. The real test is about to begin. Time to fish. With my Wobble Wonder ready, I headed to Miller's Point Lake, a tough, well-fished spot. The weather was perfect. Overcast, light breeze, crime for bass. I set up a fair test. 2 identical rods, same line, same spots. 1 rod for the $50 Pro lure, 1 for my homemade creation. 10 casts each, alternating lures in the same areas. First up, a classic bass hideout. A fallen tree in 8 feet of water. The fish here have seen it all, making this the ultimate battleground. The showdown was on. I started with the Pro lure. Tight, fast, flawless action. On the third cast, I hooked a solid 2-pound bass. A few casts later, another bite. This one smaller. 10 casts, 2 fish. Not bad. The lure performed exactly as designed. Consistent, reliable, and confidence-inspiring. It looked great, cast far, and ran true every time. What I wondered, was its perfection also its weakness? Fish in pressured lakes see the same perfect action over and over. The pro lure set the bar, but the real test was next. Time for the underdog to shine. Could my homemade lure do better? I picked up the rod with my Wobble Wonder. Plain, simple, and unpredictable. On the second cast, I got a violent strike, a 4-pound bass, double the size of the Pro Lure's best. Third cast, another big fish. By the end of 10 casts, I'd landed 4 bass, including the biggest of the day. The homemade lure didn't just catch more fish, it caught bigger, more aggressive ones. Its wide, erratic wobble and unpredictable action made it look alive. The fish couldn't resist. The Pro Lure was consistent, but my imperfect creation dominated. 4 fish to 2. The Wobble Wonder was the clear winner. I sat back, amazed at what a $5 lure could do. Sometimes imperfection is the secret weapon. The results spoke for themselves. But why did it work so well? The answer is simple. Nature isn't perfect. Real baitfish dart, pause, and make mistakes. Predators are triggered by erratic, unpredictable movement. The Pro Lure's perfect action can look unnatural to wary fish. My homemade lure, with its flaws and quirks, mimicked a wounded bait fish. Those imperfections made it irresistible. Sometimes the best lure is the one that breaks the pattern. Fish respond to what looks real, not what looks perfect. The Wobble Wonder's chaotic action was its secret. You don't need high-tech gear, just something that acts like food. Embrace the imperfections. Here's the big takeaway. You don't need expensive gear to catch fish or have fun. Building your own lure is rewarding, creative, and connects you to the sport in a new way. Don't worry about making it perfect. Embrace the quirks. Every homemade lure has its own personality, and sometimes that's exactly what the fish want. Cast it into places you'd never risk an expensive lure. Experiment, learn, and enjoy the process. The magic isn't in the price tag, it's in the action and the adventure. Next time you see a wall of pricey lures, remember, you know a secret. Go make your own magic. It's a thrill you won't forget.